Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon, Ma'am Erlita. I hope all of you in good health. In this presentation, my friend and I want to discuss about phonetics, the sound of language part 2. So, let us introduce ourselves. We come from the second group of Introduction to General Linguistics, Class A. I am Iwa Ridho Haryanti with the last student number 003. Okay, before we start it, let me check what is discussed in this presentation. The first is definition, second, vowels, third, superfectmentals, fourth, syllables, fifth, connected speech, and the last, summary. Okay, let's move on to the first discussion. Phonetics is the study of sound used in speech or the science of speech sounds and their production, transmission, and reception in their analysis, classification, and transcription. Next, we go to the vowels.
All right, the next thing that we're going to be discuss is the vowels. So, first of all, my name is Ahmad Farid Ananta. With the last digit of my name would be O2O, and I'm going to discuss about the vowels. So, vowels are syllabic speech sounds pronounced without any structure in the vocal tract, or it can be defined as sounds that are produced with no closure or obstruction of the airstream. The differences between various vowel sounds depend on which cavity is employed and on what shape is formed in the resonance chamber. So there are four divisions of vowels we gathered. So the first two are oral and nasal, which are based on which resonance chamber is used and are parts of the factor of vowel production. The last two would be the monophthongs and the diphthongs, which are based on vowel position and have to do with vowel sounds. So let's just first start from the oral cavity or the oral vowels. So the oral vowels occur when the phlegm is raised, cutting off the entry of the airstream into the nasal cavity. In English, vowels are almost always oral, and the example for oral are the vowels that are produced without nasalization. So as shown right here with the phonetic symbol and an example of it. So for the first one, it's going to be E for cream, and then for bit, and then E for lake, for bits, A for cats, for bin, for cuts, for about, for boots, E for pits, O for over, A for corn, and A for heart. And then these vowels can be produced depending on the position of the thumb. So let's move on to the next one, which is the nasal cavity or the nasalized vowels. So nasalized vowels are created when the phlegm lowers, permitting the airstream to flow through both the oral and nasal cavities. The nasalization of vowels occurs before nasal consonant. So in order for you to distinguish between oral and nasalized vowels, there's this diacritic mark in the form of tilde, which indicates the nasalization. So for example, I'm going to kind of give you like the comparison between oral and nasal. For example, bits and beat, sit and seat, max and mean, and etc. You kind of notice that the nasal sound it's kind of longer than slightly longer than the oral one. All right, so let's move on to the phthongs. So there are monophthong and diphthong. For monophthongs is a pure vowel sound. A vowels composed of one sound, like knock, silver, put, and since. And then there's diphthongs. It's a combined vowel sound, or the vowels that are made of two sounds. This sound is made up of a monophthong and a glide. For example, there's voice, cow, light, oil, cow, soy, etc. and etc. So you kind of notice that there's a glide at the end of the saying, and most English speakers tend to use diphthongs in the accent, for example, like the Australian accent, etc., and the others. All right, so that's for my material, and let's move on to the next part of the material.
My name is Galih Imanuwar Putra. My class 3 student number is 018, and I will explain about suprasegmental or prosodic features. Suprasegmental or prosodic features are characteristics of speech that can distinguish words, phrases, or sentences that are otherwise identical in their phonetic segment. Suprasegmental are associated with stretches of speech larger than an individual phonetic segment. There are three elements that are included in suprasegmental. The first one is differences in pitch, and the second one is duration, and the last one is differences in stress. First, differences in pitch. In speech, fundamental frequency is the rate at which the vocal folds vibrate. Fundamental frequency is perceived as pitch, which is judged by the listener on a scale from high to low. If a sound is spoken with a high frequency of vibration, it will produce a sound with a high pitch. And if it's spoken with a low vibration frequency, it will produce a sound with a low pitch. The overall pitch of an utterance is called its intonation contour. In an intonation language, different intonation contours change the syntactic function of sentences that are otherwise the same. And in a tone language, pitch difference in the same string of tone will change the meaning of that string. And the second one is duration. Duration is the length of a sound. Some speech sounds are generally longer or shorter than other sounds because of the way they are usually produced by the vocal apparatus. For example, high vowels generally have shorter duration than low vowels. However, the phonetic environment will also influence the length of a sound. For example, in English, a vowel that comes before a voiced consonant has a duration about 1.5 times longer than a vowel that precedes a voiceless consonant. You might be able to detect that the I sound in it is longer than the I sound in it. However, extending the I in it beyond its normal duration will not change the meaning of the word. But in some languages, the duration of a sound is dominant cue in contrast between lexical item. For example, in Italian, casa means house, whereas casa means spoke. Doubling a consonant or vowel is one way that increased length is indicated in phonetic transcription. This is because the likeness sounds called a geminate usually has about twice the duration of the individual sounds, called a single sound. And the last one is difference in stress. The word stress as used in linguistics means the same thing as one general use of the word to make emphatic or more prominent. Stress can be accomplished by changing the pitch, increasing the length, or increasing the relative loudness of any part of an utterance. Syllable seems to be the smallest speech unit that can contain stress. In some languages, the stress pattern is completely predictable and invariable. For instance, in Finnish and Hungarian, stress is always applied to the first syllable of a word. In French and the Mayan language of Mexico, words are automatically stressed on the final syllable. However, in Polish and African language, the next to last syllable of a word is always the one stressed. In other language, the stress pattern is variable and unpredictable. In such languages, including English, a difference in the placement of stress is multisyllabic word can signal a difference in the meaning of the word. The English speaker intuitively recognizes at least three possible levels of stress. They are primary, also called ascent or main stress, and secondary, and the last one is unstressed. And that's the explanation of suprasegmental. Move to the next part.
So I'm gonna explain the next part, which is syllables. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mochammad Dimas Ferdiansyah with the last standard to the number 022. So what is syllabus? Syllable is a unit of pronunciation that having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants that forming the whole or a part of a word. So in this topic, syllables will be fit into 4 sections. The first one is syllabic consonants. The second one is closed syllables. The third one is open syllables. And the last one is silent letter. So let's get started with the first one, which is syllabic consonants. So what is the syllabic consonant? Syllabic consonant is a consonant that forms a syllable on its own. Syllabic consonant is divided into 2 parts. The first one is with diacritical mark, like L, M, N, and R with the underdot in it. For example of with diacritical mark is, as you can see here, we have brother, possum, sudden, and hazel. And the next one is with schwa, with the phonetic sounds A upside down, like and un. For example, balloon, analysis, and family. And next move to the next one, which is closed syllables. So closed syllable is a syllable that ends with a consonant and has a short vowel, like mat and cup. And the next one is open syllables. So open syllable is a syllable that ends with a vowel and has a long vowel, like lake and sea. And the last one is silent letter. So silent letter is a letter or letter combination of the alphabet that is usually not pronounced as a word. Not pronounced in a word, such as castle with silent T, island with silent S, and listen with silent T. So that's all about the syllable explanation. Let's move to the next topic.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Aisyah Mutia Rahma with the 3 last channel number 025. Okay, now we have connected speech. There is a rhythm in connected speech. The rhythm of speech is the regular occurrence of stressed syllable at regular intervals of time. And there are subtopics in connected speech. The first is assimilation. Assimilation is the change in pronunciation of a phoneme under the influence of its surrounding sounds. And for the example is juice, spelled as juice, but newspaper spelled as juicepaper. And second, we have elision. Elision is the case of a sound realized as zero in casual, rapid speech and consists of a vowel and consonant elision. For the example, the vowel we have tonight, spelled as tonight, and the consonant we have 18s, spelled as 18s. And the third, we have weak forms. Weak forms are syllable sounds that become unstressed in connected speech. For the example, we have tell him to go, spelled as tell him to go. And the last one is thinking. Thinking is the phenomenon where words or sounds are linked together. For the example, we have put it on, spelled as put it on, and bad dog, spelled as bad dog. So that's all my explanation about connected speech. Let's move on.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Shafna Adinda Rahmadhani with the last 3-digit number 044. Now I'm going to explain the summary of this topic. Phonetics can be divided into 3 semi-interdependent areas, such as acoustic phonetics, auditory phonetics, and the subjects of this chapter, which is articulatory phonetics. Articulatory phonetics is the study of the production of speech sounds. Many natural events are basically continuous. Speech is one of these events. And the sound of an utterance are strung together with minimal gaps, yet we perceive the utterance to be made up of individual words. phrases and sentences, and each separated by various boundaries. The articulatory phonetician segments speech into units called phones, even though a phone can be described in isolation and in actual speech, the ideal shape of the phone will vary due to its phonetic environment. And speech sounds also are initiated by an airstream, and the airstream can then be altered when the vocal folds set into vibration. This results in a void sound. Parted vocal folds cause a lack of vibration and a voiceless sound, and the airstream can flow through the oral cavity exclusively and creating an oral sound, or the airstream can pass through the oral and nasal cavity, resulting in a nasal sound. If the airstream is impeded when one speech organ touches another, we say that a consonant has been produced. The momentary impediment can occur at any location from the glottis to the lips. The manner of impediment can vary from a momentary complete blockage of the airstream to the minimal obstruction found in the production of liquid sounds. Vowels are produced when the airstream is shaped rather than obstruct. Differences in vowel sounds depend on the resonance chamber used to produce the particular vowel, either the oral cavity or the oral nasal cavities. The vowel sound is also affected by the shape of the oral chamber as modified by tongue height, tongue advancement, and lip rounding or spreading. Categories used in phonetics are ideal types. There are some consonants such as stop that come closer to the ideal definition of a consonant than do other consonants. For instance, the liquids have both vowel-like and consonant-like characteristics, and sound can be produced anywhere along the vocal tract, not just at the landmark location, but also in different pitch, duration, and stress can affect the meaning of an utterance. In addition, people do not pronounce individual words in connected speech. Connected speech is continuous, and the listener decodes the speech by knowing where words begin and end, and by knowing the rules of packaging utterance. Yes, and I'm done explaining the summary of this topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your great attention, everyone. Thank you for your listening. It's all from us. May all those we have shared be beneficial for all of us. When you call my name, I'll be right in front of you. But we know the ending time. See you. We from the second group say thank you. Have a nice day. See you on the next presentation and goodbye.